Hello, everybody. Hope you're all doing well. So it's been a while. It's took ages to finish the Dustin chat log. I was going to go through it bit by bit. Well, I have been going through it bit by bit, but you know what? It's been like a 2 year long series. How's that for efficiency? Uh, no wonder I've not got this channel's never took off mainstream. Um, but yeah, so it has been interesting. It's been vulgar, as you can even see from on the screen now. Dustin is one of the most depraved, disgusting people that was caught on the show on To Catch a Predator. And just in case you didn't know, which I'm sure you do, but I have to remind you that genuine child images, some of the worst, I believe, were found on his computer. So he got a long sentence and he's been in court again for not abiding to his conditions. Basically, I'm hoping to finish the chat log. So let's go over it here. And he's obsessed with her panties, isn't he? You know what I mean? It's like, that's when you know there's a really deep embedded obsession and unhealthy attraction, is when you're obsessing over things like underwear and smelling underwear and send them in the mail to me. And I mean, it's quite amusing, isn't it? You know, it's good that we can find humour in these kind of situations, but there's also as you can imagine, there's a disturbing element to it. Um, um, my boss called. Right, okay, let's my boss called. What did he want? Make sure I was going to be there and tell me they was changing. Right, it's annoying sometimes because he can't type properly, so you can't understand what he's fucking saying. His partner is being weird. What you mean? He's trying to say my boss and me and the last girl that was working for that. Right, we're not interested in that. You want the honest answer? Just being honest. That other guy is big into drugs and don't look the books. Just yeah. Okay, yeah, that's why you shouldn't do any drugs. Oh well, this is a guy who is even though he's into the stuff that he's doing, he is has some kind of boundaries in his life and some kind of moral structure. Well, I won't call it moral structure, but some kind of like discipline with regard to the way life should be lived, which is bizarre for someone who has all the images on his computer that this guy does and the behaviour that he's engaged in. Oh no, don't do drugs, that's bad for you. But okay, so you're alright to download child porn, are you? Okay, dude. You're the best. Love you with all my heart. Oh, love you with my heart. I love you so much, baby. I want you in my arms. I want to too. What will you wear? See, it doesn't take him long, does it, to talk about clothing and the sexual element of it. There's very little schmoozy talk in this chat. It's like I love you and all this, and then it's straight back to the sexual element. Even in the whole of Lornography, there was like some elements where Lorne had sort of bask in fantasy land and stroking her hair in the middle of a. There was some, from his perspective, romantic elements to it. But there isn't really. This is just a perversion playfield, this. Jeans and a shirt, I always wear them. I want you to be naked. You know what I mean? It's all about satisfying his perverted needs, isn't it? Will you sleep with me? What? Okay, yeah. What? Well, she just answered you. Yeah, it will be cool. What will be cool? Will you sleep nude with me? Yeah. What? Yeah, it will be cool. What will be cool? I think it be so cool. My hand wrapped round you and on your chest. Yeah, that'd be cool. I want to see your breasts. Okay, that'd be cool. call me as soon as they leave. Why? So I know they left. Lol. Oh, and that way, if there's a blow up, I can come and see you. I need your address. You gonna come to see me tomorrow? I don't know. Don't want to say yes. Cool, I think it'd be so cool to see you. Bowling Green. Wow, is that the address? Okay, I'll run that on MapQuest. Cool. It's just so funny, isn't it, that they're running this address and it's like, it's the murder house. Well, you know what I mean, Stinghouse. That was a Simpsons quote. Right, let's get past this. So we're nearing the end of the chat now. I hope I get to come up there and come in you. Lol. That's a fantastic pun there, Mr. McPhetridge. I also think it's a way of him sort of programming her. You know what I mean? Like using that word in that way. It's obviously his perversions are so. It interests me, this kind of psychology, if you can call it that, because it's. I love studying the darker aspects of human nature, because it's so far. Listen, I'm far from a perfect human being, but it's so far removed from anything that, even like with the perversions that these people have towards children, are far stronger than the attractions I seem to have towards, women my own age or around my own age. This is what I can't quite understand. It would seem to be that predators' attractions to children are stronger than men's attraction to women. It's a normal women, but you understand what I'm getting at, because we touched upon it in a recent stream. The positions that they put themselves in and what they're willing to risk, it's almost unbelievable. It must be. I can't quite put my finger on it. Is it because it's kind of the forbidden fruit, and the danger element adds something more exciting to it? So it's like a kind of a bigger reward, and the prospect, because as well as like it being a genetic thing in a lot of cases that these people are attracted to, people of that age, because we did a stream about it and it would seem to be scientifically proven that it is like a genetic attraction. Some people are born with it. I do believe there are different factors and different varieties of predators. What a fucking weird way of saying it, but I think you know what I'm saying. But with some of them, like him, it's about having total control. It's all about power and control. It's about having total power and control over another human being, a young girl who still has her innocence, who you can't even look upon as being an adult yet. I think that is what drives these people. Having such power, this is what, ultimately, that's what, all kind of evil boils down to, really, is a total disregard for another human being. It's a total selfishness. And it interests me. I don't quite understand the need to control or have power over anyone, apart from fear, because what you can control can't hurt you. But with this, it's something different. And I find it fascinating. A lot of not a lot, but I think I have a good balance going on between what I study. As I study, I mean, don't read as many as I used to, but I used to read a lot of books about serial killers, true crime. No, not as much, but I still do. I like to delve into the darker elements, but you don't want to become. I used to watch like Saw movies and shit, and then I realised that wasn't good for you. That's just poor. That's just gore porn. It's not good. But I like to do, because when we do the streams, when I do the streams with Shin and Tiff and Amanda James and stuff. I like those because we're really getting as deep as you can about these subjects in a lot of occasions. It's not just doing videos and streams and go, oh, look, he's a bastard. I'm not saying, that's... We already know what these people are like. We're not going to learn anything. I like to understand as much as possible. And it's... For Dustin... You remember, I don't know whether you remember from one of the previous chat log videos I did where he wanted to get her drunk and basically do whatever he wanted to do to her, and then she woke up sore, not remembering what was going to happen. That was really like one of the worst things I've ever seen. It's like a total lack of consideration for somebody else's well-being, and all that matters to him is satisfying his needs. It's pretty disturbing, really. It really is. He's a true ghoul, this guy. I don't like saying that because, like I said, I don't do clickbait videos of like sickest guys and all that. Of course, it can be very entertaining, but it's kind of like riling people up, and there's enough of that. But even this is, but we can approach it from a more analytical way. But even doing it this way, it does instill anger in you. How could it not? The best way to look at these people is just say that they're sick. Of course, we do use that kind of terminology, and we say like, they're sick. It's true. I prefer to look at it that way and say these people are sick. There is something wrong with them. They don't typify the normal human being. There is a lot of it that goes on. But thank the Lord, not everybody's like that. And that's what I prefer to look upon. Listen, I'm not a fancy high-priced psychologist, but I've trust me, I've been and seen and done quite a lot in my professional life, and done a lot of studying with regard to people's behaviour and seen it from all angles, professionally and in personal life. I'm not saying I've lived a greater or more learned life than anyone else. I'm just saying that I think I have a decent opinion in that I'm not just some basement dweller who thinks he knows what he's talking about. I've done a lot of studying into this stuff. I've read a lot of really good books. I'm very ruthless in the way I spend my time, and it's really more beneficial to look upon evil as being, if you want to label it that way, as just being people that are sick and lost and sinful. Sinful in the original way it was conveyed. It was meant to. It's from the Bible. It's been translated, but the original translation wasn't that sinning was you doing something inherently wrong and that's a sin. Sin was the original point. The original translation, how it was supposed to be conveyed, was missing the point, and that's the way I prefer to look at bad. It's a complicated subject. I'd like to do a video just on how I see it, but I don't think it's for everybody, and I don't like to tell people. I have beliefs, but they're a bit deeper than that. It's almost like a knowing, but I can't. It's difficult for me to say that without sounding arrogant, really, without telling people. You know what I mean? But it's about the really deeper nature of the human spirit. You know what I'm like with my spirituality. It's important stuff. I'm not saying that you have to be you have to go down that path to be a good person. That's certainly not. One of my best mates, right, who's probably the most enlightened person I know, has never fucking read a spiritual book in his life. Never done any meditation. He just lives his life the right way, and he's kind of been kicked into that life. The reason he's been kicked into it is because he went through such a traumatic experience with his daughter. And he lived through it for years. And he had two choices. And the choice he made was to suffer and go through the shit. And he did it because he wanted to protect his daughter's well-being. And the benefit for him, although he's been through hell, was that he ended up being a good person. And the reason he was a good person is because he didn't put himself first. He had to go. He could have stepped away, but didn't. And he did everything he did was for his daughter's welfare and her needs, because his was secondary. But when you put yourself first like that all the time, that's when you become evil. But it's decisions that you make. I've gone off on a tangent here, but you know what I'm like. And I suppose the people that listen to my stuff, you kind of, I would imagine that 90% of people like my approach to these things. It's not the norm. It's not. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with the people that do it, but it's not just going through these chat logs and going, "Oh, Luke, is it?" You know, it's like, like I said, we're not going to learn anything. Anyway, I will get back to the chat log. Right, okay. Want to see my house? You're gonna let me guck you however. Right, okay. G is next to F, so I think we know what he's getting at. How can you send pics? Bust house Addy. It's in the middle. Okay, but would you let her join us? Fucking hell. Do you know what's interesting about this chat log? I was going to say good then, but good didn't seem the right... If it was a work of fiction, it'd be good. But it isn't. What I meant is, every time I go through this chat log, something shocks me. It's almost like watching the best horror movie ever, and you're like, oh my god, you know. And just as a complete kind of, to go off, you know, on something completely unrelated, one of my favourite horrors of all time is The Conjuring 2. Brilliant film, based on a true event that happened in Enfield in England. Well, supposedly true event. Watch that movie. Brilliant. But while we're getting into that subject, and I like going off on tangents, I'd probably say my favourite horror, I know it's predictable, but it's probably Silence of the Lambs. I just love the movie. It's fucking great. You've got a psychologist who's a monster but really a nice guy underneath. You've got this budding FBI agent. The acting's brilliant, the suspense, the story, it's just the atmosphere, it's just put in the damn basket. You know, what a fucking movie, you know what I mean? It's shocking. Anyway, I'm pretty sure no one listening to this hasn't seen Silence of the Lambs, and if you haven't, hang your head in shame. Anyway, when I say something shocks me, would you let your sis join us? So this is a guy who wants a 13-year-old to get it on with him, and her sister as well. Now, you'll have to forgive me. I don't know. It's been that long, and this is the problem with leaving these series so long apart, is I can't remember if at all he mentions how old his sister was. But is it kind of any relevance at this point? She's young. Well, but would you let her join us one day in sex? Ooh, that's the right response. Don't think so. You see, even the decoy's not playing along with this. Well, you don't have to, but having sex with sisters is hot. Now, how would you know, dude? You see, this is the thing, right? It's kind of like... Listen, guys... I don't think there's a guy in the world that wouldn't want to get it on with two girls. Do you know what I mean? Well, there probably is, actually. But the point is it's a very alluring prospect to a guy to get it on with two girls. But two girls who are related, from a personal perspective, let's just say that, you know, it doesn't do anything for me to get it on with... But you remember The Office? Have you seen that bit in the English Office where... they're in that training day, and then Gareth just goes, two sisters, I'm just watching. Like, Tim just goes, I never thought I'd hear myself say this, but can I hear more from Gareth, please? Oh, dear. But yeah, I don't... You see, this is his level of perversion. It's nothing's normal with this guy. He wants to get it on with an underage girl and a sister. and him. I've got an image. I've just had an image in my head. Then fuck me, that freaked me. That freaked me out. Ugh. Yeah. Why? I don't know. Well, maybe try answering a bit earlier. So would you? Not a question. No question mark on the end there. Don't think so. It's ooh. You wouldn't have to touch her. Oh, okay. So you right? Okay, dude. So as long as they're both willing to put out to you, then that's all that matters. Still ooh though. I won't make her. I won't make you with her. Still ooh. One day I do expect you to have a threesome with another woman. What do you mean with another woman? She isn't a woman, so how can she have a threesome with another woman? One day though, are you talking like what? If I mean, what? Get a grip on reality. I mean, this is really like a recipe for a ghoul, isn't it? You know, a guy who is overweight, obese, not very intelligent, depraved. The disability, it adds an element to his character because it adds. You see, the problem is with Dustin, he feels sorry for himself, or at least he uses it as an excuse. Now, having that kind of condition, I've had people. I think my most popular video is the Dustin McPhetridge chat log. When it was on my old channel before it got deleted, I think it had like 250,000 views, and I remember a load of comments from people saying that who had that disability, even in the one that's currently on my channel now, a load of comments from people saying it's insulting to them with a condition, with cerebral palsy, that someone like that uses it as an excuse and behaves in the way that they do. But it does add an element to his character in this bizarre persona that's been created, this bizarre kind of personality, and that the disability means that he's stuck in his bedroom more than he would normally be, I believe, because of his disability. He can't get around much. So what does he do if he's got these perversions? He's obviously more inclined to spend a lot of time on his computer. He's downloading these images. He's kind of turned into a part digital man. He's almost a cyborg. And that, it's like this, I was going to say perfect storm, but perfect storm is like usually said to a perfect storm to create something good. This isn't a perfect storm. You know what I mean? It's kind of an unperfect storm. Yeah. So, hang on. Yes, but we will have a threesome with a guy too after that. Yes, you like that idea. Don't know. Why is that? Never thought about it. I love you. I wonder why he's mentioned that. Is he trying to appease her? Because he's not mentioned any, like, homosexual tendencies at any point, from what I can tell. And from what, I mean, he might do, but is it just to... It's kind of a carrot is dangling in front of her. It's like, right, okay, to see if... I mean, it's all... He's not really thought it through, has he, at this point? It's all just about appeasing his immediate sexual needs. Because he's obviously getting off from just having that kind of conversation, as a lot of them do. Laura McPhetridge going to be my name, though. I Luke that. Went to the bathroom. Pee? Yeah. Need me to wipe you. You see what I mean? She's talking about going to the toilet, and he's already imagining what's happened, and that he, you know what I mean? It's a really deep perversion that he's got. He can't. Everything that she does it kind of reverts back to this twisted nature that he's got. It's quite scary, really. No, I did it already. Can I when we are together? You really want to? I'll try anything. Well, that's a fucking true statement. I mean, it doesn't even bear thinking about it, if this guy was given... I mean, don't go there. But I believe that if this guy, I mean, he said it all there. If this guy, just thank the Lord that this guy was caught and that he did have that condition, because if he didn't, potentially, he could have been more proactive in his, if he's downloading all those images and getting off on it. It's like we've mentioned before in videos, if someone is born with that condition, you can't vilify them for having a thought. But when you download those images and you see the suffering that they must have gone through, some of these kids, I've heard, not in detailed accounts, but one of my best mates is a cop, and he worked in the serious unit, the kind of the CID we call it, and he was talking about when he had to view some of these images. I didn't get specifics, but it took him a while to get over it. And he gave me enough detail without giving me intricate detail to know the nature of what it was. And I have read a few court documents to know that it's beyond anything that you could imagine, which is good, because I remember reading it and thinking, I didn't even know shit like that existed. And I kind of like to know what... Part of me likes to know everything. I don't like to shy away from something that exists in the world, but yet you don't need to see them. Just knowing they exist and what kind of things people are into. It can, true understanding is not, true knowledge is wisdom, It doesn't mean that you can shy away from things. It's all part of existence in the human world, and the human world is ridiculously complex. And I just believe that says it all. I think that if this guy had free reign, he'd be involved in anything. He really would. There'd be no. He's already proved it. I can't wait to have your name. Blah 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 blah. What kind of wedding do you want? Don't know. What kind do you want? I don't care. Well, he says it all there. We've got to believe what someone says until they tell us otherwise. He's not interested. There's no real... I mean, just in case, I don't think anybody needs me to tell them this, but there's no genuine caring from him. There's no romantic connotations that he's got attached to this situation at all. That's quite clear. And I do believe that some of the other people did. Like, I know I use Lorne as a poster boy, but there was a kind of, from his perspective, a romantic element to the chat log. His version of love is so flimsy that he could fall in love with the fucking blade of grass if it fell on his ass. Do you know what I mean? I fucking love you. 2 foot the shit. What? 2 foot the shit out of my GF. Wonder if she wants that. Okay. He just was in the living room. Damn. I can't wait for you to call me. You leaving me. Oh, right. Okay, so here we are. It's done. Here we are. The end of the Dustin McPhetridge chat logs, which took me 15 videos. Fucking hell, I finally got through it. I mean, to be honest, it's... I will... As well as not probably taking all, my channel as professionally as what some people do. I will give myself an excuse on this occasion for not finishing it in any kind of prompt time, is that it is difficult to get through. I remember doing it a few times and feeling sick, you know what I mean? And then you're obviously not going to be inclined to go there again. Some of the chat logs are a little bit more easier to get through, shall we say. So yeah, I hope that you have enjoyed this particular video. I'm glad it's over, if I'm being honest. There's plenty of others to get stuck into, should I have the time. Please let me know if you have enjoyed this video, and let me know if you enjoy me going through these chat logs. Because, this is all... Obviously, I wouldn't do these if people didn't enjoy it. It's just, that all this is just a hobby. I don't make any money or anything like that. It's just a bit of fun, really. I enjoy doing them, but there's no point if nobody gets something out of it. If nobody gets... so just let me know. So I hope you are all doing well in these crazy times. There will always be time every now and again to look at these people, and plenty. I've got loads of ideas for videos. It's just finding the time to do it. There's so many like chat logs and interesting videos out there. So please just let me know what you think. Any comments about the chat, and I thank you very much for watching. I really do appreciate all the people that take the time to comment and watch my videos. Like I said, it makes it all worthwhile. So take it easy, look after yourself, guys. I'll speak to you soon.